standing down there and waiting to take
So guys, you're watching a camel ride here at a Coe Riverside farm. We are located in Benton, Tennessee, halfway between Chattanooga and Knoxville. So if you've ever wanted to come ride camels and not travel to a different country, you can do that here at a Coe Riverside farm. We have over 150 animals. Obviously there's a camel, but we also have kangaroos, sloths, iguanas, Scottish Highland cows. What you're looking at right there in the distance, where the camel's getting ready to ride across, those are covered wagons. Those covered wagons are right on the banks of the beautiful Coe River. The Coe River actually starts up in Georgia. When it's in Georgia, it's the Toccoa River. And then it's going to come down into Lake Blue Ridge, get held up there for a little bit, and then when it crosses Copper Hill, McKaysville, right there from Georgia to Tennessee, that's where it changes over to the Coe River. The rest of those dams, there's 3 more, 1, 2, and 3. They were built in the early 1900s. There was an awesome little village called Caney Creek Village. It supported about 1,200 people, and they had no cars and no horses. Pretty awesome way to live, a little bit slower and beautiful. So if you ever want to slow down and come relax, come to Coe Riverside Farm. Those camels can go a lot faster, but we don't do it here. Believe it or not, camels are actually used in war. Pretty sure if I was lined up at one end of the battlefield and I saw a huge creature running at me, I might think twice about the decisions that I've made. You can see some of the zebras there in the background. We got Marty, and what's the pregnant female's one's name, Grant?
Jaja.
Jaja. Jaja is the pregnant one, and she's about to pop. So I'm not sure if we're gonna get a zonkey or a zebra out of that, but we'll see. Pregnant over here. Let's see if we can find out where they are. So one of the kangaroos has a baby in the pouch, and right there is the daddy hanging out. That is rough. And he's the daddy out there. You only have one unneutered male, and no more than that, or else they will just fight and fight and fight.
much water a camel can drink? Yeah, so that guy could drink 50 gallons all at once. This guy could drink 30 gallons all at once. We already kind of talked about that, but some other things about these camels that we did not talk about on the farm tour. Let's talk about some of those other things. So, we're gonna care. Give this one here. So, some other things about these camels. See how his nose is slit shaped and has like a whole bunch of little tiny hairs in there, right? While he breathes out, all of the water vapor in his breath, you know your breath is wet, right? All that water vapor, all those little hairs catch all the water vapor out of his breath. So that he is only breathing out dry air and he doesn't lose moisture from breathing in the desert. Then he's got special eyelids. So see, they got these great big eyelashes and eyebrows. That helps keep sand out of their eyes, but they're in the desert. So in addition to that, they've got 3 eyelids. So their first eyelid closes to make their eye watertight. Their second eyelid closes to keep the sand out, but they can still see through it. And then their third eyelid closes to close their eyes. And voluntary muscles means it's a choice how you move them. So like, you know, your heart isn't a voluntary muscle. You don't choose if your heart beats or not. But your arms and legs are voluntary muscles. That means that, you know, you choose whether you pick your foot up or whether you don't, right? That's voluntary muscles. So their eyelids are all voluntary muscles. So you can choose to close one, or you can choose to close 2, or you can choose to close all 3 of them. His ears close up so that he doesn't lose moisture through his ears and so that the sand doesn't go inside his ears. So everything up here all closes up so the camel doesn't lose water while he's in the desert, and so that no sand gets into his eyes and nose and ears and lips and everything. Here's something interesting about a camel, that all camelids have a split top lip like this, right? So the 2 sides of their top lip work separately. They can use that to pick things up with even. And then if you look at it in his mouth, there's no teeth on the top and the front. They only have bottom teeth in the front. And that's camels and llamas and alpacas. All of them have no top teeth in the front, only bottom teeth. Then back here, he does have top teeth. So that's where he chews his food. This is where he picks his food or bites his food. Because of this big gummy plate in the top, and he's got all these tiny little hairs all inside of his mouth. They're not hairs, but they sort of look like it. They're like little rubbery things all in there. That helps him to be able to bite food that's really sharp and really hard. So like he can walk right up to a great big cactus like this in the desert, just chomp and just chew it right up, even though it has spikes on it, like the thorns, like that big on it. A camel can just chew that stuff right up and it won't hurt him. The camel, if you look at these spots all on his legs like this, and then see on the other camel those big spots up here, on his legs up here, see those? So those, when the camel lays down, he goes down like this. And these are all the places where his skin is going to touch the ground when he lays down. So in the desert, the sand can be really, really hot. So that's what keeps him from burning his skin when he lays down. And then in between the camel's front legs, see this big thing right here? See that? That's called his sternum plate, also called his pedestal. So his pedestal, when he lays down onto the ground, the pedestal touches the ground and his belly does not touch the ground. So the pedestal is really hard and it doesn't let heat go up inside of the camel. So that's what keeps him from getting heat stroke. That's a disease or a medical condition related to getting too hot too fast. So that's what keeps him from getting heat stroke. He doesn't soak all the heat out of the sand into his belly. So if you think about it like this, if this is the top of your stove at your house and this is your hand, you would very much rather your hand would be here and not here, right? If the stove is turned on. So it makes a huge difference there being just that little gap in between his belly and the ground when he lays down. The camel has great big, huge, large intestines. When he's in the desert, he's trying to save water. He squeezes every bit of water out of his poop before he goes. And when he goes to the bathroom in the desert, when he drops his number 2, it is dry enough to light it with a match when it hits the ground. It doesn't have to lay there and dry out. It's already so dry you can just light it with a match when it hits the ground. And that's important if you are walking a camel through the desert, because at nighttime they like to have a fire to cook food on, or what you use to make your campfire at night. So really important there. But camels are pretty amazing animals. They can live in the hottest climates in the world. So these guys can live in the Sahara Desert, Gobi Desert, all over the place. They also can live in the coldest climates in the whole world. So Siberia is part of Russia that's way up towards the Arctic Circle. Camels can be wild all the way up into Siberia. And in Siberia, it can be minus 60 degrees. 60 degrees colder than zero on the Fahrenheit scale. So, I mean, so cold that if you breathe, me or you, if we breathe, it would freeze our lungs. If we wouldn't be able to survive without something over our face to keep breathing in that really cold air. It could literally freeze our lungs. It's 60 below zero, so cold that if you spit, it would be frozen before it hit the ground. Camels can survive where it's that cold. So they're pretty amazing animals. They have two hair coats, so their summer coat is thin and light colored like this, so it reflects the heat of the sun. It doesn't hold the heat in. It's kind of like if you walk around with a t-shirt instead of a coat on, right? Your t-shirt doesn't hold the heat in so much. It protects your skin from getting burned by the sun, but it doesn't hold a whole lot of heat in. But you know, you live in Pennsylvania, when it snows on the ground, you sure want a coat, right? So the camel's coat is that he grows out really thick hair in the wintertime. So his winter coat can be like as much as 4 or 5 inches thick. And their winter coat is darker than their summer coat. So when the sun hits something, it puts more heat into a dark color than it does into a light color. When they're light colored like this, that reflects some of the sun's heat. And that's a really deep conversation about color bands. But the dark hair, it absorbs more of the heat from the sun. So their winter coat is dark colored and it absorbs more heat from the sun. So overall, camels are some pretty doggone amazing animals. A camel that is properly packed can carry 1,000 pounds all the way across the desert. And while it's carrying that 1,000 pounds all the way across, it's going for 10 days or 2 weeks with no water at all. Could you imagine having no water at all for more than a day? I mean, I can't. But yeah, they are really, really get it done kind of animals. So we're about to see the baby camels next, but this guy is the kissing camel. You still got his camera? You want a picture of giving the camel a kiss? All right. Take his picture for him. This guy is a kissing camel. If you go, nom, 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 nom. There you go. Pretty cool, right? All right, we're gonna let these guys go loose, and we are going to go inside and see the baby camel. On farm tour, you saw him from a distance, and now you're going to see him up close. Let's let these guys go right. Oh, did you? Cool. You did bottom feeding? Yeah. Excellent. Which one did you feed?
I said the white one.
That's Prince Ali. The other one is Humphrey. This one is Prince Ali. Prince Ali is a 4-month-old baby camel. He was born in February. He was born February the 4th, I'm pretty sure. And so he is the older of these two camels, and he is a dromedary camel. Do you remember how I said you could tell the difference between a dromedary camel and a Bactrian camel? Yeah, so which one is a Bactrian? Yeah, that one. Just remember the picture that we saw with a B and it has 2 humps, and Bactrian starts with B. So the Bactrian camel is a 2-hump camel, and dromedary is 1-hump camel, because a capital D has 1 hump in it if it's laying on its back. This guy is actually the only white camel I have ever seen live in person. And thanks for peeing on the floor, Prince Ali. Always count on the camels, right? So Prince Ali is 4 months old. He came to us from a camel breeder in Kentucky. And he is a cool, cool dude. We look forward to him growing up big and strong. And when you see this guy and then you see the next one, you can see that his hump is already filling up with fat because he's older than that guy is. When we get that guy out in a minute, you'll see that his humps are still floppy. So his humps still lay over sideways because he's not very mature yet. He is only 2 months old. And this guy, remember we saw the rough patches on the camels outside where they lay down, right? He's just starting to get his rough patches on his knees, and see where they're coming through on his back legs right there. So he's just starting to get his rough patches. And then his sternum plate, you can see that you can already see the plate right there. It goes all the way up inside him, but see it hasn't got the hard part on the outside of it yet. So by the time winter comes, his hard stuff will all be there. And let's put him away so he doesn't just keep peeing on the floor. Hey, come on. Don't pee on the floor. Kevin, you want to give us a little chase there?
Oh, well, you food now. Oh, come on. Come on, back.
Good boy. Hey, we have a picture. You need a shovel for that.
We do have a
Too
picture.
hard.
Or you can put it on the container.
There's marks on the sides.
You knew how much was already in there?
Kimmy, don't step on that.
Yeah, right. So like this, 3 gallon right here. How much you put in it? You put any ounces in it yet? Okay, so you would just fill it up to almost at the end. So then water hose, put it down there, put it down too. Sorry.
All right, now we're going to see Humphrey. Humphrey is the Bactrian camel. Here, Humphrey. Come on, see us, buddy.
Hey, I'll be right back for that. Dad, don't move that spray.
Okay. You'd like to hold him? So this is Humphrey. Humphrey is a Bactrian camel. So remember I said when we saw this guy, we'd see that his humps are not full up with fat yet. So see how that's just all floppy loose right there? His back one is starting to fill up, his front one hasn't started to fill up. So he's just a baby. He was born April the 2nd. So he is, what is that, 10, 11 weeks old, somewhere right there. So, and he is shedding out so that he's going to have his summer coat soon. And they call this guy a silver camel. He's starting to look pretty silver, isn't he? And so the last one you saw, that you could start to see his rough patches, right? This one you can't see his rough patches yet because he's still too little. Although it's kind of funny. Well, no, that's just dark color. Yeah, you can't see his patches yet because he's still just a young guy. And his very favorite place to be scratched is right here. If you just pat him like this, he'll wag his tail and he'll sit there and go. Rrr. He likes that a lot, doesn't he? So Bactrian camels actually get much bigger than dromedary camels. Our dromedary camel that's outside, the one that you rode, is named Ed. Ed is 7.5 feet tall and he weighs 1,750 pounds. But this guy is a Bactrian camel and he can get as big as 2,200 pounds and as tall as 8 feet tall. So we're gonna have to change our stalls in here when he gets big, because 8 feet tall is the top of that wood, not the bottom, but the top. So he won't even fit into these when he's all the way grown up. We got a couple years to figure that out, because he won't get that tall for a couple of years yet. But he is going to be a very, very huge camel. So now, this one is Liza the llama. And so all of these are camelids. Camelids are the family of animals. They're all based off of camels. So the camelids are camels, and then the next ones down are llamas, and then next down are alpacas, and then vicunas and guanacos are related animals that are wild. But do you see some similarities between him and her? They both lay down the same. When they lay down like that, that's called cushing. So that you tell the camel, "Cush," when you train them, and they lay down like this. And if you're in the desert and you don't have a nice mounting platform that we have out there, you have to make your camel go down and cush so that he can get to the ground, and then you can get on it. Some other things that are the same between them is they all have a split top lip. So his top lip is split, and so is hers. They all have no teeth on the top and the front. If you remember, you saw it outside that they had no teeth on the top. You see her, she's got no teeth on the top and the front.
Come on.
And these are all called even-toed ungulates. That means that these ones have 2 toes. So see, she's got 2 toes and he's got 2 toes. And all of the camelids are either heat resistant or cold resistant or resistant both ways. So a camel, we already talked about, a camel can take when it's all the way hot and when it's all the way cold. A llama can take when it's all the way hot and almost as cold as a camel is good for. Not down to 60 or 70 below zero, but certainly down to freezing, a llama is completely good. And the alpaca, the llama can't live in the desert, but it can live just about anywhere else. The alpacas are only good for cold. The alpacas do not stand heat. So even here in Tennessee, if we had an alpaca, and we do have alpacas, we have to have fans that they can lay down in front of, and we have to have a pond that they can go swimming in so they can cool themselves off. And all of them have a short tail. This guy's tail looks a little more like a dingy. That one's tail looks a little more like a fluffy thing. But they all have a short, straight tail. And they all are weather resistant. Did you have any questions about camels today? Or were you mainly just in it for the ride? Yeah? Which one's your favorite camel? Ed or Abu or Prince Ali or Humphrey? Yeah. I like those two real well too. And the reason that I like those two so well, they're so sweet, just lovey. Ali is a little less lovey. Ali's lovey if you have a bottle. And Ed is lovey if you have a carrot. Not even really lovey, but he's more tolerable if you have a carrot. All right, let's put this guy away. Come on, Humphrey. Good boy. So today you had your camel encounter. So you met all these guys on the farm tour. You get a whole lot more information during your encounter. Thanks for coming out today.
All right, guys, we'll be back on later on. Thank you so much for watching.